Hello everybody, Timothy Bailey with Project Learn, and our video for today. Well, some people love them, some people don't like them, but others are seriously afraid of them. But it's what we're going to look at today. We are looking at pests around the house. This is part one because there are a lot of different things we call pests. We're looking at flying insects and bugs. And we're going to go quick. I'm trying to look at the most common ones you might have around your house or your apartment, or you might see when you go hiking. All right, here are some. We're not going to look at all these today. Again, we're looking at the flying ones. Let's go ahead and jump in. So here's a good one to start off with, right? It makes honey. This is a honeycomb, right? This is our very popular honeybee, and unfortunately, honeybees are one of the insects sometimes in danger due to pesticides and other things that we use. Honeybees, right? A great insect. Another great insect, what we call the bumblebee, right? Looks similar, a little bit different. You can see this one's a chubby guy here. This is a little thinner over here, right? And I have a little video here, so let's go ahead and check this out. I shot this when we went, Lucy and Wilma and I, to a park. There you can see the bumblebee going around to the flowers, and then the pollen, which we need, flowers need, sort of attach themselves to the bumblebee. And I was just following these guys around. An amateur wildlife videographer. Following as they went around. They were focused on the flowers. They didn't bother me. They didn't care that I was there. Right? And I just kept following them around. So that's our bumblebee, another good insect. Two sort of similar, I don't know the science of it, if they're related in the distant past or not, but two insects you might see that are not so nice are the yellow jacket and the wasp. Another insect very similar, a hornet. And these three insects, yellow jacket, wasp, and hornet, look very similar. You can tell there are differences if you study these insects. The big thing here, these guys really kind of hurt when they sting you with the thing on the end of their body. Okay. Here's another one, another awesome insect, right? This one shows up in cartoons and things like that. This is the ladybug, right? The ladybug. A related insect, or at least we often think they're related. Again, you know, a bug scientist could tell us, is this one, sometimes called the Asian beetle, right? People tend to have more problems with this one being a pest around their house than they do with the ladybug, with the red one, right? So the red one, you know, people often like the red one. The yellow one can cause different problems for plants and things around your house. Here's another insect. Now these two insects are a little bit strange because you're not likely to see this one, right? The two of them that I'm going to show you. This is a cicada, right? A cicada. And again, you're not likely to see this animal. What you are likely, I'll play it here, is to hear this animal. Some of you, if you live in the city, you may not hear it as much. If you live out in the country or go out in the country in the evening, right, at nighttime, you will hear the cicada and the other insect that I'm going to show you. Okay, so that is the enjoyable for some. I like it. I like hearing it. In fact, since the weather has cooled down and we don't use our air conditioning, I get to leave the door open when I sleep, and I have a screen, and I can hear the insects outside, such as the cicada, and it's enjoyable when I'm sleeping. So again, I told you, you won't see the cicada. What you might see is its outside shell, right? It loses a shell and gains a new shell. Sort of like, you know, when you get a suntan or whatever, or a sunburn and your skin peels away, right? The cicada goes through a process of getting a new outside shell. And this, just like here on the tree, you can often find stuck to a tree, right, where the cicada left that shell. A similar animal is this one, an insect. This is called the locust. And again, both of these animals, you're not likely to see them, but you will hear them. Okay. Now here's one you probably know. Again, if you live in certain parts of the city or somewhere, they might spray a pesticide so you don't have these as much. But again, they may not. Right? So this one lands on you and it uses its little mouth, little needle type thing here, goes into your skin, and it sucks out your blood. Right? Sort of like a vampire, if any of you are familiar with the vampire, right? What is this animal called? You might know this one because we have them a lot. This is called a mosquito, right? A mosquito. And mosquitoes are one of other insects that enjoy water, for example. So if your home is near some water, particularly water that doesn't move a lot, what we call stagnant, it just sits around, that sort of water tends to attract more of these kind of insects, right? Now, the thing you need to be careful of with mosquitoes, you can use spray, bug spray, mosquito spray, we might call it, or repellent, and that'll work sometimes for some people, and other people it doesn't seem to work. Some people don't use any spray, and mosquitoes don't bother them, really. So it's really sort of all over for what mosquitoes bother people or don't. But you do not necessarily want to just sit around letting them bite you. Right? They can carry disease, so you do want to be careful a little bit. Another insect you have to be careful of, and technically this one does not fly, I don't believe. It mostly falls. So if you go hiking, or if you have, even perhaps at your house, if you have some trees or something, this insect here, which is called a tick, sort of just hangs out on leaves and stuff, and then it'll fall. And it'll fall on, animals or people or whatever. But then what it does is it sort of injects itself into your skin, and you'll see part of it sticking out. And then there are certain ways you have to get it out. So really check with someone or look online about how to get rid of the tick if it's in your skin. This is a reason why if you go hiking, you want to check yourself, check your friends, your family when you get done hiking, to make sure you don't have anything sticking out of your skin. It might be a tick. And again, like the mosquitoes, they can carry diseases and things like that. So you do want to be careful with them. A good rule of thumb, right? Rule of thumb is an idiom that means sort of like a suggestion or a rule or something that you might want to follow, is when you go hiking to wear long pants, certainly, if it's not too hot, long sleeves, and a hat. Right? Because they often fall and land on your head, right? That's the first part when something is falling. So a hat that sort of has a brim, right? The brim is the thing that goes around the hat, right? So that if they fall, maybe they fall and they just go off of you, okay? A tick. Another fun insect, your children maybe, hopefully, will go and catch these guys in a little jar with holes in the lid. This one has two names, a lightning bug or a firefly. And Ohio seems to be a mixture for these terms. We tend to use both. Other parts of the country might use one or the other. Right? And I have just a little video here so we can see some of these lightning bugs in a National Geographic video.
Where does your milk come from?
Right, and lightning bugs, you can see them mostly at night. Once the sun starts to go down, you'll start seeing them come out. Not a whole lot during the day.
Ranges throughout the southern Appalachians. It really is a pretty magical thing to see. I think people are just
Here's a little
fascinated
boy
by
collecting the fireflies,
especially growing up,
putting them in a jar, right? Make sure that the jar has
in jars.
holes
looking
in the
at how
lid
they're
so you don't
doing
kill
the flashing,
the
looking at
lightning
Google.
bugs.
Maybe it reminds them of their youth, and they want to bring their children out to experience the same thing.
And children, right? When you're young, you might take them into the house, right? Some of you might, oh no, you don't want your kid to bring the fireflies in the house, but you can bring them in, leave them in the jar, and then eventually take them and let them go back into their natural habitat, right? So another awesome insect, the firefly. Here's an insect, not so great, but they're not a huge problem, right? This is called a stink bug, right? It has a more technical term, but that is what they are known as. And the reason they're called that is not because they smell by themselves, really, but when you smash them, when you kill them, right, then they smell a lot, right? And they will stink up your house or whatever. They're very easy, though. They don't bite or sting you, right? So if you get them, you can get a piece of paper and scoot them on or into a cup and put them outside. I just usually will sometimes catch them in my hand or scoop them into my hand, and I'll throw them outside, right? They fly, so you can just throw them. They'll take off, right? There's no reason to kill them. Just let them go back outside. This is a regular fly, or what we might call a housefly, right? Different situations will make them prevalent or a lot around your house. Certainly, they do like sweet things, and they do like different foods, so they might come around. They will sometimes pester you, right? Bother you, annoy you. If you are having a picnic outside, right? They'll fly all around the food. The thing we use, right? You might see in the store with a little handle. It's got a little flat, like waffly looking thing on the end. A fly swatter, and people use those either to kill the fly or to just make them fly away, right? But again, flies, not really a problem. You can let them land on your arm and look at them, right? They are interesting. Another insect that has the word fly in it is this one. But this one, right, if you look at it, doesn't look just like a housefly. It looks kind of amazing. Look at the body and these wings. And what other fantastic animal, an imaginary animal, not a real animal, might it look like that flies? Some of them, anyways. Right? Asia, they have them. Europe has them. Right? I'm talking, of course, about the dragon. So this is a dragonfly, right? It looks like a fly, right, here, sort of. But then the body looks something like a dragon with the big wings and the fancy body. Dragonfly is another insect, doesn't bother anybody. They fly around, check things out, and then they fly away, right? They don't sting you, bite you. As far as I know, they don't carry diseases. And they look sort of like butterflies, which we actually didn't talk about today. They look very nice, right? Very beautiful at times. This is one kind of a beetle, right? There are many kinds. I like this particular one because of how it shines, right? Its outside exoskeleton, this hard outside, is very shiny and sort of reflective, right? Beetles, not so bad. The only issue sometimes for beetles is they do eat vegetation, so they might eat your plants, your house plants, or your plants in the garden, possibly. And then there are ways, without killing them, to put things around your plants so that they sort of go away and don't eat your plants. This guy here is a grasshopper. They do a lot of sort of jumping around. That's the hop part. But they also do fly, so they have wings tucked in here, right? And you'll hear them as well. They make noise by rubbing their legs together. A very similar insect is the cricket, right? Smaller, black. You also do hear this one as well. And then in some cultures, they eat crickets. Here are some links. This last one has more insects from Ohio. I hope it was interesting, not too scary. Next time you are looking for things around your house, insects and stuff, try to figure out what it is. Thank you, and have a great day.